Good evening to all of you. This is our first lecture, and we're going to talk about mining in Brazil, especially mining mineral processing in Brazil. So at this beginning, I want to introduce myself, but I need to know a little bit more about yourself, guys. So if it would be possible, I'd like to start making you guys some questions, okay? So I'd like very much for you turn on your cameras and tell us a little bit about yourselves, okay? Who are you? Where are you living? Where are you from? And especially and most important, why did you choose to be here with us in these lectures, okay? So if we have any volunteers, please take the stage. Otherwise, I'm gonna ask one by one.
Hello, good evening. I am Claudia. I'm 23 years old. I am student of University of Iray, and I am a researcher of material in solidification. I research, how can I say ligas in English? I don't remember. Alloy, yes. Okay. I research some alloy of aluminium, and I am a student of mechanical engineer and technical mechanical.
Sorry, Claudia, please go ahead.
I don't understand why you say.
So sorry. Just keep going. I stopped you, and I'm sorry for that. I just want to ask you if you're an undergraduate student. As far as I could understand, you are undergraduate, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's just I'm here because I like design.
Okay. So you're coming from a mechanical background, is that correct? You don't have any contact with the mineral processing and mineral background yet?
No.
Okay. It's quite important for me to know what you guys already know about mining, okay? So if you don't have any contact with mines yet, that's okay. We can work with that, but just let me know, okay? Just let me know, and I can go step by step, okay?
Okay, right, thank you.
No, don't need to mention that, okay? So the next one, please open your cameras. I'd like to see you guys a little bit, not just the small pictures or the avatars or anything like that. So
sorry, teacher, my camera doesn't work.
Not a problem, okay? So if you have any problems with your hardware, that's not a problem at all. So who's going to be next?
Okay, good night. I'm Matias from Mozambique. I have a PhD in geology and master in geology, and I have degree in chemistry. Okay. Now I'm a professor at University in Mozambique.
Oh, that's nice to meet you, Matias. It's really nice to have more professors here with us. I hope that we can exchange some knowledge, because you being a geologist, you're going to teach me a lot about geology, and probably I can give you one or two ideas about mineral processing. Okay, thank you so much for being here with us. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Who's going to be the next one? Nilu, I guess. He opened his camera.
Good night. Good evening. Sorry. My name is Nilu. I'm from Campo Grande, Mato Grosso do Sul. I'm an environment engineer student of the UFMS. I'm an intern in the Public Ministry of Mato Grosso do Sul. And I'm very interested in this lecture because in my course I never see nothing about the mineral process. And I hope that I will learn a lot. And thank you.
Not at all. I hope that we all can learn a lot, because you guys are going to be teaching as much as I will be. Or lecturing as much as I will be. So it's quite sad to know about this, Nilu, that you didn't have any kind of contact with mineral processing during your course so far. But it's understandable. Nowadays in Brazil, at least in Brazil, the courses that have contact, a lot of contact with mineral process, are going to be mining courses and also metallurgical courses. And nowadays, people from metallurgy, they are drifting away from mineral processing, or at least slightly drifting away. And that's quite sad because we're so few people in Brazil nowadays researching and doing mineral processing, and it shouldn't be like that. At least it shouldn't be like that at the moment that we're living. Okay, so I hope that you can learn more things from this and change in the future this background from environmental engineers from Mato Grosso do Sul, our neighbor state. I'm in Goiás, so we're quite close. Considering Brazilian distances, right? If you were in Amapá, it would be completely different. And who's going to be the next one? Thank you, Nilu.
I can go.
Please, Barbara, go ahead.
Hey everyone, my name is Bárbara. I'm 21 years old and I'm from Minas Gerais, Brazil. I've been graduating in environmental engineer in Cefet. And also I've been doing an internship in the mineral area. So this is why I chose this.
Barbara, if you allow me to ask, which Cefet are you studying at? Araxá, Minas Gerais?
Minas Gerais, Belo Horizonte.
Okay. So I know the area quite well because I'm from Itabirito, so like 40 kilometers away from Belo Horizonte. So I'm going to be showing some pictures from Minas Gerais also. Thank you. It's good to have someone here. It's close to us. Who's going to be the next one, please?
Professor, I don't have camera.
Okay.
And I am Luis Santiago Cervantes Olmedo. I'm from Colombia, Cesar, in Colombia. I student second semester civil engineering. And I am here because I want to learn from Brazil. Sorry, but I am excited.
Don't worry, take your time, okay? And you don't need to apologize, okay? You don't need to apologize at all. For example, I'm sitting in front of my kitchen. That back in there is my kitchen. You're gonna see a lot of people coming across. Okay, I have 3 boys and also my wife, and everyone is going to cross this eventually, okay? So in this lecture, you're gonna see like 4 or 5 times people crossing around and people are gonna start to talk with me, so don't worry, okay? It's completely understandable. And just to spend a few minutes about this, nobody wanted to go through the situation or the moment that we're going through right now, okay? And it's completely understandable that things are not going to be as good as planned. Okay? We're not going to be sitting around in the university and having these lectures inside of a safe space. So we're not going to be disturbed. We're not going to have distractions. For example, my lights could go off, my electricity could go off, my internet could go off, or anything like that. It's completely understandable. And if we have any kind of malfunctions like that, don't worry, I'm going to be recording everything. You can take a look later on. It's going to be completely available to all of you, literally to all of you. And if you have any questions or doubts, next lecture, you can comment at me and you can ask, and I will be more pleased to have this chat with you guys. Okay, even if that's not subject of our lecture, we can discuss this in another time, in a private time, if that's the case. Okay, so don't worry about anything. I don't have a camera, that's not a problem. I'm using my cell phone, my mobile. I have just a 3G connection, not a problem at all. Okay, you guys are amazing to be here with me discussing mineral processing, mining, Brazilian situation. I have to thank you all, and I'm not going to demand anything from you guys, okay? Don't worry. But let me just ask you something, Luis. I know that some people who speak Spanish, they don't go for the first name. They use more like the second name or the third name. How should I address to you? Luis, Santiago, Cervantes? What would be the correct pronunciation, or how should I call you, please?
Yeah, my first name is Luis, my second name is Santiago, my surname is Cervantes, my second name is Olmedo.
And how do you like us to call you? Santiago, Luis, Cervantes, what do you prefer?
Santiago.
Santiago. That's great. Okay. Who's going to be the next one? I think we have a few more people to introduce.
Hello, good evening. I'm wearing pajamas, so I apologize for not opening the video. My name is Daiane. I'm from Brazil and I'm a master's degree student at the Federal University of Ouro Preto in mineral engineering. And I'm researching wire and mineral processing in the turbology research line. So I became interested in this course because I'm a geologist and I work with mineral processing.
Oh, that's great, Diana. Just for curiosity, who's your supervisor, José Aurélio?
Rosa Malena.
Rosa. Yeah. Send my regards to her. She was my former professor too. I'm going to introduce myself in a few minutes, but I'm a former student of Federal University of Ouro Preto. But my supervisor was José Aurélio. So yeah, I know all the guys over there. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you.
Who's the next one? I think we have Ramon, right? And Matias already introduced himself.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Ramon. I'm a mining engineer, and I'm familiar with mineral processing. I'm a lecturer in Suriname. So I did my mining engineering in Ouro Preto, so the name you call, I know everybody there. So I'm interested in this course because a time ago, and it's nice to upgrade to see how things change in Brazil and the new techniques. So that's it for now.
Thank you, Ramon. Thank you so much. It was very nice to know another lecturer or another professor and to have you here. Okay. So guys, to move forward a little bit, let me try to explain you something. This course is going to be good if you're a good student. This course is going to be bad, really, really bad, if you just keep your cameras off and if you don't talk to me. Okay, I love to talk. I like to chat a lot, but I don't like to chat to myself or to my screen. Okay, and I would appreciate very much if you guys talk to me. Okay. So for the undergraduate students, just skip everything that you know about the lectures. Okay, we're not going to have a lecture like that. A lecture that you sit down and you just listen and copy. Okay, it's not going to be like that. It's going to be more hands-on. Okay, we're going to do things. And for the post-graduation student, for masters or PhD candidates, it's going to be like a normal day to you. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about some things, and I'm going to give you a lot of homework. And on the next encounter, in the next lecture, we're going to sit down and discuss about what you guys learn, what you guys research. Okay, so that's pretty much our dynamics. And to be honest with you guys, I was a little bit scared about the number of people in this lecture because I received a list with like 40 names on it, and I was quite impressed because normally people don't like to talk very much about mines and mineral processing. I don't know why, I love those. But nevertheless, now we're only 7 people. Okay, so let's hope that people are coming or they have some kind of difficult situation today, and maybe they can join us in our next lectures. Okay, so let me start to showing you guys a little bit about my plan for this lecture, and then I will introduce myself, and then we can start. Okay, so if you have any doubts, just raise your hand. Okay, you can stop me anytime you like. I have 2 screens, so I'm gonna have you guys on my left all the time, and I'm gonna be looking forward this way just because my main screen is going to be here. Okay, so if sometimes you cut me looking to the left or to the right, it's because I'm changing screens. Let me just do this right now, change my screen and start sharing my presentation. As a good lecturer, I love presentations, okay? And I spend a lot of time preparing presentations, as all lecturers nowadays are all professors. So for our lectures, we're gonna start like this, okay? So I make that pool. I sent to you all this document, and I don't know why, but only 25 people, I guess it was 26 people replied to me, okay? And most people choose to have lectures today. It would be like this. Over here, it would be Tuesday evening, okay, Brazilian time. And then people choose also Friday morning. So we're gonna have these two lectures. Actually, when I prepare the lecture plan, I propose Wednesdays morning. And then people from France send me email, oh, Wednesday morning is not good for me because it's going to be in the middle of the day here in Europe, could be a little bit late and things like that. And I said, okay, let's discuss this later on. Okay, so please just apply for the lecture. If you succeed with your application, then we discuss the best time. I know that we're not going to have a time that everybody's going to be comfortable with being here or even able to be here. So that's why we're going to record everything, and I hope that you can watch this later and catch up with us, okay? So that's our 2 encounters, our 2 lectures per week, okay? I'm using the word encounter instead of lecture because not all these times we're gonna have lecture, okay? We're gonna have actually some chat and some encounters. That's why I'm using more this word than lecture itself, okay? So this is also in the plan that I sent to you guys before by email, and we also create that WhatsApp group. And by the way, we're going to use that a lot, okay, a lot, because I'm going to send you material using that also. And also I'm going to use 2 more websites, okay? And I'm going to show you guys all of this in the next few minutes. Okay, so our first lecture is today, okay? And here we are on the 20th of July. And then we go straight up to the end of August. As I mentioned to you before, when I planned the lecture, I didn't know that we have to end up to the end of August. Actually, I think it's 20th of August, we have to end everything. I was planning like a long semester, and we don't have this. We have 1 month, okay? And that's why we're gonna have 2 lectures per week. And I know there's a lot, okay? But on the other hand, I like this concentrated course. Sometimes you can focus a lot of those. I know that you guys are not doing only this lecture, you're watching, you're attending other lectures also, but we're gonna try to work this out during this next month, okay? So as you can see over here, we're gonna have 2 different rooms. That's the link for the room that we're gonna have on Tuesday, and using this other link, we're gonna have our meetings on Friday, okay? And I also put here again our WhatsApp group. So just click on this material later on and you can join us on the WhatsApp also, okay? Well, what's our main goal with this lecture? First of all, okay, I want to introduce you a little bit about the Brazilian deposits. So we're gonna be talking a little bit about geology, okay? And how much geology we're gonna talk about depends only on you, okay? If you have questions, if you want to go deep into the Brazilian geology, I'm not the best person to do this, but I can try to give you some insights about the Brazilian geology, or at least about what I know, a few things that I know about the Brazilian geology, okay? After that, we're gonna talk a little bit about mineral processing, or also synonym, mineral dressing, or mineral treatment, okay? So it's pretty much the same. Nowadays, we prefer to use mineral processing, but it's not the only expression to describe what we're going to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to separate what we want from what we don't want, okay? So we're going to try to remove the gang minerals. Oh, what is gang? This word is new to me. So every single kind of mineral that I don't like, or that I don't want, or I don't have anyone to sell those, I'm going to call gang mineral, okay? So if I have an association, just 2 minerals, a mineral that I want to sell and the mineral that I don't want to sell, or I can't sell, this other one, I'm gonna call gangue mineral, okay? There is plenty definitions, what is a mineral, what is a ore, and things like that. During this lecture, we're gonna tackle those, okay? So don't worry, you're gonna understand everything, but nevertheless, just ask, okay? So one of our colleagues, one of us, just told me that it comes from the civil engineering. Oh, I don't understand what is this, just ask, okay? Please, just ask. Okay, stop me anytime that you want. I like to be stopped. Otherwise, I'm going to be talking to myself during this whole time. I don't want to do this. Okay, guys, please, I don't want to do this. And I want to give you guys, or at least try to give you guys, an in-depth view of Brazilian mineral industry. And I'm going to focus on sustainability and the challenge that we're facing right now. I think everyone here knows that we had some major accidents in the past, in the recent past, and that's true. And we're trying to tackle with this new reality. We lost people, we lost friends, family, and we don't have this anymore. So we're adapting, we're changing, and we're growing from this situation. Definitely, we're growing as not companies, but also as people, okay? But nevertheless, there are many, many, many challenges ahead of us. I'm gonna try to summarize a few of them, okay? And you guys are gonna bring more. Definitely, we're gonna bring more challenge to us, okay? And just for tease you a little bit, water is a main issue for all of the world and also for Brazilian, okay? Forests are also a challenge for us. We have, as I'm gonna show you, many deposits that are laying below forest, okay? And how are we going to tackle this? How are we going to suppress the vegetation, try to get grip of the ore, and then reestablish that environment? Is that possible? I'm not sure, okay? How are we going to tackle the animals around, and also the vegetation and the people, okay? We have many cases of mines going together with native people, Indian people in Brazil, and how we're going to deal with the situation. Normally, it's a stressful situation, okay? So that's why we're going to be here talking about this challenge for the next few days, okay? So I try now to summarize a little bit what we're going to see on those lectures, okay? What we're going to be talking about. And let's just not keep like really straight to these dates, because if it's possible, I like to speed up a little bit of this schedule. And today we're going to talk about mining in Brazil, generally talk about mining in Brazil. I'm going to try to show you guys what are we doing in Brazil, but not like in general idea. I'm going to try to show you guys what are we top 5, okay? What are we top 5 producers? And that's pretty much our strengths. Okay, so if you think about a SWOT matrix, I think you all guys know about this methodology. I'm talking about strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats, and it's very, very good matrix. So we're going to use this. It's nothing new, but it's quite handy and useful. So I'm going to start with our strengths. Okay, then we're going to move a little bit about our weakness, but then I come back to opportunities, and then we talk about threats, okay? And I'm not going to be the one who's going to talk about threats. Probably is going to be you guys, because over the 4 lectures, this one and the next 3, I will be doing most of the work, okay? I'm going to talk to you about mining in Brazil again. Then we're going to shift to strategic minerals. Then we start talking about mineral processing itself. And I'm going to start with comminution and classification. Then I move to concentration and water recovery. So all the major points regarding mineral processing I want to address, okay? And I will. After that, we're going to start some seminars. And you guys are going to be hosting those seminars. So the idea today is discuss a little bit about those seminars too, in order to allow you to have time to prepare your own seminars, okay? And we're going to understand a little bit more about how we're going to be doing this 5 seminars, okay? Not 1, but 2, 5, okay? And then I'm going to finish with something that I would like very much to see Brazil engaging with, would be space mining, okay? And especially space mineral processing. or mineral processing space, whatever you prefer. But I'm going to show you why it's really, really important that all of us start to take a little look, okay, and take into consideration mining in other place than planet Earth, okay? And I know this is bold, we have to be bold, okay? If we don't need to be bold, we don't need to move forward, and that's not true, okay? So this is what we're going to be doing during this project started by Andifs, called Destination Brazil. And I know that we have some Brazilians here with me, and I appreciate very much to have my country people with me, but also I'd like to welcome all of you who are not from Brazil. To introduce me a little bit, I'm from Minas Gerais, I'm a Brazilian, okay, and it's quite nice to say that I'm a mining engineering from this state called Minas Gerais, which could be roughly translated as general mines. So it's not strange for me coming from this mineral area that I choose to be also part of this. And I come from a long line of miners, father, my grandfather, and so on. And I choose to go to Ouro Preto and to have over there my education, okay, my academic education. So I started in Ouro Preto in a technical school. Back in the time was called a Technical School of Ouro Preto. Would be translated to Portuguese as Escola Técnica Federal de Ouro Preto. And then I moved to the university, to college, and then I stayed there over my master's and also my PhD. So when I left Ouro Preto, after many years, I was also a PhD. Then I have a postdoc time in the Federal University of Minas Gerais, and then I went to Claudia Technical University in Germany. I'm a professor here in the Federal University of Catalonia, over 11 years now, I have 20 years in the market. And one thing that we must have in mind is about difference, in especially cultural difference. So when we talk about lecturers, professors, full professors, things are a little bit different here in Brazil. Okay? And it took me a while to understand this. So the careers, they are quite different. So here in Brazil, for all you guys understand the concept, when you apply for a position in the federal university and you succeed, you have two options. You can be like a temporary contract, or you can have stability right from the beginning, okay? And that's pretty much what happens with most of us, okay? It's different from other countries, like European countries, that you don't have the ownership just from the beginning, right, from the zero. We do have here in Brazil. So I'm not a full professor yet. I'm only 4 years to become a full professor, but I work not only with the mining engineering course, but also with industrial production engineering course. That's for undergraduation. And I lecture on the master's and also on the PhD course here in our university, okay? I supervised one PhD already, and I think 15 or 14 masters. Under graduation, I lost count and lost track. Too many. And what else? I ask you guys why you're here, because it's quite important for me to understand if you're already working in mines or not, if you're already working with one specific mineral or not. So I'd like very much to have these inputs from you, okay? So after having this talk, I would appreciate very much if you could come back to me and say, oh, I'm working with this, or I want to work with that. So my friend from the civil engineering, what do you want to do? We're talking about sand, we talk about gravel, what kind of material are drawing your attention, okay? Or no material specifically, but it's quite good to know and quite good to understand how can I help you guys to understand a little bit more about your situation, about your ore or your minerals, okay? And for people from the geology, also give me your inputs. I would like very much to know what are you guys working with, okay? So if you want to give us a brief introduction about what are you doing, I would appreciate very much, okay? So anyone want to share with us a little bit for the professors first? What are you guys working with nowadays? Please, guys, help me. People from Mozambique, from Colombia, what are you guys working with over these places?
Well, I'm a geologist, but I work with ware of iron ore in the mineral processing, so just iron ore. But
Okay.
I have already worked with copper and some explorations in the south of the Brazil.
Okay.
Some
So
projects.
it's quite different groups, Diane. When we talk about iron ore, we're talking about oxides. Okay. When we
Yeah.
talk about copper, probably we're going to talk about sulfides. Okay. And for mineral processing, two different words. They're going to collide eventually when we talk about flotation, when we talk about milling and crushing. It's going to be similar, if not the same. Okay. But when we talk about chemicals, they are completely different. Okay, and it's quite important for us to understand the differences. Who else?
I'm not doing any like course about it in college, but I've been doing an internship in Chiara. I don't know if you know it.
No, I don't.
It's Fundação Estadual do Meio Ambiente in Minas Gerais. And I've been working with paralyzed mines, abandoned mines, and also with the process of closing mines. But I started like 1 month ago, so I don't know a lot about the mineral area already.
So the last slides that I'm going to show you on this lecture is going to be about the mining stage. So how a mine starts and how a mine ends. Maybe I can clarify some of your doubts about this today. Okay, we're going to come back to this. Who else? Santiago, you want to share with us? No? Okay. So let's talk a little bit about mining in Brazil.
Teacher, I have a question.
Please, Claudia, go ahead.
The seminary will have to present here, right?
So can you repeat, please? I couldn't understand you.
The seminaries, yes, will be present here, right?
Yes.
For
you will be presenting.
Okay.
Okay, so you're gonna have a subject to study, and I'm gonna send you some papers. Okay, so you're gonna pretty much read the papers, prepare a presentation, and share with all of us. Okay?
Okay.
Yes, you all are gonna have to speak in English, and you're gonna have to present.
Right.
Okay, so let's do this as much international experience that we could have. Any other question?
No, thank you.
Okay. So the first thing that is important to know about Brazil is what is strategic to Brazil and what is important to Brazil. And this is quite important for us. It is actually so important that our second lecture is going to be about strategic minerals. Okay. And I'm not talking only about Brazil. I'm going to talk also about Europe and about USA and so on. But it's important for us to understand now what is important to Brazil and what is strategic to Brazil. And what is important to Brazil, it's of course what gives us more money, what is making our minds go on. Okay, and one element that is quite important for us is this one. It's called niobium. Okay, and niobium is important for Brazil or to Brazil mainly because all niobium of the world are right here. Okay? I'm not talking about 100%, but around 94% of all niobium in the world are laying on the Brazilian soil. Okay? And this number can easily increase a little bit more. Okay? We have some research going on Amazonia, and maybe we're going to have more numbers about niobium in Brazil. And we do have niobium on Canada, on Australia, but not like we have in here. This mine that you see on my right-hand side, this is a CBMM mine. You can see their logo right over here. This is called Brazilian Company of Mining and Metallurgy, and they are dealing with niobium for a few decades, and you can see some of their product. So the first one that you can see on my left-hand side, right here, it's written in Portuguese, minério, but you can translate this as ore. Okay, so this one would be ore. This one is the concentrate ore. Okay, what is this? We already removed some impurities, that gangue minerals that I mentioned to you guys before. Okay, and this is what you have. Okay, so this is the refined concentrate. Okay, after that we go to metallurgy stage. We go to, first of all, to hydrometallurgy and then to pyrometallurgy, and we move from this to this. And in here we have oxide, niobium oxide, NB2O5, or pentoxide niobium. Okay, I think is this the correct pronunciation. And after this we go straight to here, and then we have the metal niobium, and we can also produce this oxide over here. It's not coming from this stage, it's actually coming from this stage, if I'm not mistaken, but this is called optical degree. Okay, and you can perform some equipments and materials with this kind of niobium. It's a special kind of niobium, and you can see on this first picture right over here, this is coming from Wikipedia. Actually, they have quite beautiful pictures over there. This is a lump of niobium, and also this is pure niobium. Okay, this is gray niobium, and it's just a joke. It's just to make fun of this. But we have so many niobium in Brazil that these elements shouldn't be called niobium, because niobium came from Greek mythology. This should be called like Brazilium or something like that. This could be the only chemical element really coming from Brazil. So I have a motion to change niobium name to Brazilian. This is just a joke, but I would appreciate very much if you have something like Brazilium as a chemical element. And this is also a picture coming from the same mine site. And I mentioned to you that around 94% of all niobium in the world are here in Brazil, and actually in two places. The first one is a city called Araxá in the Minas Gerais state, and the second one is right here where I am, Catalão, Goiás. We're the second largest niobium producer in the world, and there are two producers. Actually, we have three, but we're the second largest out of three. Okay, so our production is really smaller than what we have on CBMM, but nevertheless, we are a major player because there are just three players: Niobec in Canada, CBMM, and CMOC here in Catalão. Okay, it's nowadays a Chinese company. So you can see over here, and I'm going to show you guys a lot of Google Maps picture, and I like you to take a look. I like very much that you take a look not only on the picture, but also on the green areas around the mine, and also about scale. Okay, so as you can see over here, we're in a scale of 500 meters. Okay, so this over here is 500 meters. Now you can have a look how wide is this mine. Okay, it's really big, and we also can take a look that this mine is close to the city. It's called Araxá. Again, that's the name, okay, of the city, Araxá. This is a luxury hotel. It's a really impressive hotel, and it's quite close to the mine. It's near the mine. Okay, from time to time you're laying down this hotel and you can even hear some sounds coming from the mine. Okay, especially when they are blowing things off there. They are make this movement of material. Okay, using explosives, for example. But as you can see, it's a quite big mine. Okay, but I'm going to show you bigger. Okay, bigger mine than that one. And we are the second largest producer of magnesite. As you can see over here, we're talking about a carbonate of magnesium, and we produce around 15% of the global market. Just Brazil can supply this. And you can see some picture of the mines over here. And of course, as you can see, they're completely different. Okay, so when you talk about the niobium mine, is unique. Okay, when you talk about manganese mines, of course, you can have many similar, but they are quite different. And I'm going to show you iron ore mines, and it's going to be different too. I'm going to show you graphite mines, definitely is going to be different. Okay, because first of all, magnesite is white, it tends to be white. On the other hand, the niobium ore, which is called pyrochlore, okay, that's the mineral or the main mineral family carrying or bearing niobium. They are completely different from this white, okay? But we are the second largest producer of magnesite. And as you can see over here, it's a white mine, as you can see right over here. And this is the industrial part, this is the mineral processing plant. And we have other areas here, with extraction. And I mentioned to you scale, this is a 200 meter scale. So when we talk about niobium company, it's really bigger than we talk about this company right here, called magnesite, and it's laying down in the Bahia state. Moving forward, we are also the third largest producer of chrysotile. Okay, chrysotile or asbestos. I know that it's been banned from place to place and from time to time because we have very, very good correlations between cancer, especially lung cancer, and asbestos use, okay? But nevertheless, we have a different kind of asbestos, okay? Asbestos can be used coming from two different minerals. One of these two minerals is called chrysotile, okay? And that's the one that we have here in the state of Goiás. And we produce around 15.6% of all chrysotile of the whole world, okay? And this is different because of what? First of all, the problem here is because this kind of mineral, this asbestos, we talk about needles. They are all about needles. When you take a look at it, it looks like insulation, because it is insulation. It was being used hundreds of years as insulation on Europe. Okay? And when you breathe these fibers, they go straight to your lungs and they stay there for a long time. And they hurt you every time that you breathe, you get cut by these fibers. And when you do similar thing with chrysolite, it's quite different because it only stays in your system for a few days. Okay, they have some research that point out that it's going to stay inside of your lungs only for 3 days. So the damage is quite limited and you eventually get rid of the fibers. According to them, they are harmless, but nevertheless, people are trying to remove all the use from chrysolite from the world, okay? But it's quite difficult because we have some so refined, so specialized use for this mineral that makes us very, very difficult to replace, okay? For example, we use this brakes, we use this also to make clothes. They are fireproof, okay? And it's tough to find a good replacement for this material, even now, okay? But yeah, we're the third largest producer and here in the state of Goiás. Again, some pictures from Google Maps, and if you take a look at the scale, now 1 kilometer, so it's the largest scale that I showed to you. And I like this picture very much. First of all, because of the contrast between the greens, as you can see over here, it looks like a fail or something that went wrong with the satellite image, but actually nothing is wrong in here. As you can see over here, this is the city. It's not a very big city. It's called Minasul, in the north part of Goiás, almost in Tocantins state. But yeah, this is a city around the mine because this mine provides for the city. We have many cases like this in Brazil, that the mines are fully responsible for the city's economics, okay? And this is the case. And one thing that is quite interesting is this area over here. This is called Sama. Sama is the abbreviation of the company's name. And they call this Summerville, Okay, and this Summerville is where the people who works from Summer lives, or at least part of the people, the engineers, lives. And you can see the different size between the Summerville and also from the city, and they live inside of the company. They are so close from the company, they can have their meals in the company, and not talking about lunch. They can have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and the whole family can go and join them. Okay, they just have meal together inside of the company. The companies provide everything, and you can see the scale of this company. Okay, how big it is, and it's really big. Okay, and moving forward, we have also bauxite. Bauxite is the ore carrying aluminum or bearing aluminum, and aluminum is important for all of us. I'm going to show you more applications of this material on our next lecture, but we do have this ore in Brazil. As you can see over here in the state of Pará, we have not only the ore, but we have also the refineries, and we produce the aluminum alloy. It's quite interesting. And as you can see, the material changed again. Okay, so the first picture, we have niobium, and it was like brownish material, like soil, and we come back to this soil-like material, and then we move to a white one, a green one, and it comes with all kind of colors and shapes and textures and anything. Okay, now again, talking about scale, as you can see over here, it's all green. Okay, yes, it's all green because we're in the middle of Amazon forest. Okay, but then we take a look at the scale and we see 10 kilometers. Wow, it's pretty great scale, right? It's pretty big. 10 kilometers. Sorry, coffee pause. But you can see over here that we have a mine, or at least a mineral area, and we have here another one. So actually we have another one right over here. So we're talking about many mines, and they are all working together with bauxite. Okay, so if we zoom in, we have this small area here, and this is coming from this area over here. So we have this, okay? And now we're talking about a scale of only 2 kilometers, okay? And you can see how big is this area. So if we zoom in, now on that north part, the north arrow, we have this, and they have even an airport. Why? Because you have two options to get to this place. Okay, two feasible options to get this place. Or you fly, or you go by the river. And the river is laid right over here. It's called Trombetas River because this place, it's called Porto Trombetas. It could be translated, I'm not sure what trombetas means, and I'm a Brazilian, but I don't know what this word means, but it's like a shipyard, okay? Trombetas shipyard or Trombetas harbor, okay? The best translation would be harbor. And yeah, as you can see, another example of coming out of nowhere, and people went there and developed everything, including the city, just because of the mineral resource that we have over there. So this is quite real, okay? If we find something in the middle of the Amazon forest, we're going to move there, we're going to take people over there, and we're going to start a mine. And it's quite important for all of us. Keep that in mind, it's important. And we're the third largest producer of another mineral, quite interesting mineral, called vermiculite. It's a mica. I'm going to show you more about mica, but this mineral, it has plates, and those plates are attached together by van der Waals forces. And if you take this material and put inside of an oven up to 1,200 degrees for only 2 seconds, it expands. Okay, and it expands in the way that you can see on your right hand side. Okay, it's like a pack of paper sheets. And this material, it's important and it's strange because of what? First of all, because it can absorb hydrocarbons. So if you have an oil split, or if you drop cooking oil in your kitchen, you just drop vermiculite on top of this material, expanded vermiculite, and it's going to soak all of the oil. And it's quite impressive because it can absorb 10 times its weight on oil. Okay, So consider this, you need to transport oil from one place to the another, and you don't want to have any kind of oil spilling out of this case. So you just put the oil inside of a bag full of vermiculite, and you don't need to worry about anything. Actually, vermiculite is so good for transportation that you can even replace like other material, like plastics material or petroleum oil derivatives to vermiculite. Okay, so any kind of material you can change by vermiculite, and you have pretty much similar response. Okay, even styrofoam. Okay, you can replace styrofoam with vermiculite, and you're good to go. Okay, you're ready to ship your material. If it's with some oil, not a problem. Vermiculite can do the trick, and works even for crude oil. Okay, so if you have like a crude oil split on the ocean, can use vermiculite to get rid of that. And one that people also think and ask is what I'm going to do with the vermiculite after having all the oil going into the vermiculite. You just burn it. Okay? When you burn the vermiculite, you burn all the oil, you expand the vermiculite again, and you can regenerate the vermiculite. You can do this up to 10 times. Okay, so you just put the vermiculite over there, it's going to soak the oil, it's going to expand, you're going to retract, you just burn the vermiculite, it's going to expand again, and you're ready to use. Again, it's a cycle, you can go up to 10 times doing this. Okay, so this photo that I'm showing to you on the left-hand side, on the top part of the left-hand side, sorry, it's a mine here in the state of Goiás, also in the north part of the state of Goiás. It's called São Luís de Montes Belos. And in this place, we have the third largest mine of vermiculite in the whole world. And it's actually a small place, as you can see over here, about the scale, just 100 meters. Just 100 meters our scale, and we have this huge production of vermiculite. It's quite nice to see. And one thing that we can consider is the applications of vermiculite. It's a very good to insulation, not only thermal insulation, but also sound insulation. You can replace asbestos with expanded vermiculite. You can use this as packing material, and you can also use this to remove oil. It's quite handy to have this mineral around us. And I'm not sure why, but it's not considered a strategic mineral. Okay, it's not even considered a quite important mineral in Brazil. It's strange, but it is what it is. This guy is considered not only strategic, but quite important for Brazil, because this is iron ore. Okay? Here in Brazil, we have these concentrations of iron ore, and we call this beef. So important that I'm going to write down. So BIF, beef, and it stands for banded iron formation. So as you can see over here, we have iron, we have this banded formation, we have more iron over here, and more of this reddish material. Okay? And this is silica, SiO2. So it's quite close connected with quartz. Okay? What happened in Brazil that we have this rock so interesting like this, because this is a rock, it's an association of two minerals. This is called actually the name of my city that I was born from. It's called Itabirito, or in English, Itabarite. Just change a no to an E. And here's the thing, we living in an environment in the world that we didn't have an oxidizing atmosphere. We're having actually a reducing atmosphere. And then when the stromatolites change our atmosphere and start to pump oxygen to our atmosphere, what happened was this iron oxide start to precipitate in the sea. Okay, and back in the time we had sea in Minas Gerais state in Brazil, and those formation started to happen in this area. And even now we have this area, and we call this like a four-sided area, quadrangular area, and we call this ferriferous quadrangular area, okay? And this material comes from this area. And we can produce something around 13% of all iron ore in the world. And here we have to make some considerations. Okay, you can have iron ore pretty much everywhere in the planet because our soil is quite rich in iron. But one thing that you have to keep in mind is if you make a chemical analysis of the soil and you can see chromium, even niobium, gold, it's normal. Okay, it's normal. But we need to have a not normal agglomeration or concentration of this material in a very limited area, and then we have a mine. Okay, so one thing that you can see on sci-fi fictions, movies or literature is someone taking soil and putting in a machine and separating everything. This is our dream, okay, but it's only this. It's only a dream. You can have mineral processing with low grades. We need to have this anomalous concentration of material, and it doesn't happen everywhere. Okay, it just happens in very, very selected spots in our world. Okay, and one of those is Brazil. Okay, so we do have this, and I bring some pictures from my city for you guys to take a look how important is iron ore. So this mountain laying here in the middle of this flowers, beautiful flowers, it was used 200-300 years ago for people to navigate in this area. They just took a look and said, okay, that's our way to go. So let's follow this trail and let's go through that mountains. And I'm telling you the truth, it's through the mountains because this is 1,500 meters high, okay? And as you can see on your right-hand side, they couldn't mine this. This is a peak, a small mountain, made all of iron ore, okay? Because they said, oh, okay, it's beautiful, we like this, it's important for our history, let's keep this. And the company said, okay, we can keep that, but we're gonna mine under it and around it. And then you can see what they did over here. They removed everything right into the bottom, okay? And the peak is still there, but it's becoming like higher because there's nothing around it anymore, okay? So you can see the banded iron formation over here again. It's quite visible, the quartz crystal, at least the quartz color, the typical quartz color in this sample, as you can see over here, and so on. Okay, I think you got the idea. And now you can see a little bit better the peak, okay, and the surroundings of the peak, okay? My city would be something around, I guess, here, down here, okay? We have cities on both sides, okay? And this is the mineral processing area. It's right over here. Okay? So this is what is important for us, okay? We're gonna study that thing. So this kind of scenario, it's quite normal in Brazil when we talk about mine. Brazil is a mining country, but the Brazilian doesn't know this. Okay, I'm gonna come back to this and I'm gonna tell you some stories. And I said, oh, okay, it's not history, it's just a story, but it's actually history. It's actually true. And some of those happened with me. Okay? And people doesn't know. It doesn't know how important mine is for Brazil. So the Brazilian doesn't know how important mine it is. And it's quite different from Chile. Okay, so if you go to Chile, if you go to Peru, they know it, okay? And they are proud to be a mining country. And that's not true in Brazil. Okay, some few Brazilians know how important mine is, normally because they're connected with mines, one way or another. So I started with a 500 meter scale and I came back to 500 meters scale, and then you can see this is the peak that I showed to you before, the Itabirito peak, and belongs to Vale SA. And then you can see the mine shaft. We don't call this hole, we call shaft or pit. Okay, so when we talk about underground mine, we're going to talk about shaft. When you talk about overground mine, we talk about pit. So this is a mine pit. And all of this area over here was previous exploited areas and also areas that I'm going to pile up, not the mineral that I want, but the gang. It's all laying around. And this is a complex. This is an iron ore complex. If you move into that direction, you're going to have Vargem Grande, it's another mine. If you go to this direction, you're going to have Moeda. If you go to this direction, you're going to end up in another city and you're going to have more iron ore mines. Okay, so again, it's a complex. And I bring to you this broader vision right here. And as you can see, we're in a scale of 2 kilometers. Okay, Belo Horizonte would be in this direction. Belo Horizonte is the capital of this state. It's quite close. So from the capital to this city over here is just 40 kilometers. And from this area over here, it would be like 20 kilometers. Okay, so this is the complex. This is the mine complex. Just one of those. Inside of that quadrangular area that I would call it metallic quadrangular area or iron ore quadrangular area. And as you can see over here, this is the city. It's bigger than the city. It's way bigger than the city. This city hosts now something around 70,000 people. Okay. It's not a small city. Another place really important for iron ore, it's in the north part of the country. It's called Carajás, and it's the richest deposit of iron ore that we know so far. And as you can see over here, we have 2 spots on it, and Carajás is this one. Okay, and they are so rich over there that you don't need to have any kind of concentration. You just go to the mine, just hollow the material, and you grind it, and you're good to sell it. Okay, you don't need to have any kind of concentration. And this is amazing. This is really amazing how rich this material is. Okay, moving forward to the kind of minerals and elements that not everyone knows about it, I bring to you tantalum. Okay, we do have tantalum in Brazil, and we're the 3rd largest producer, and we produce 10% of the world production of tantalum. And tantalum is quite interesting in Brazil because we don't have big mines working with tantalum. We just have artisanal mines dealing with this material. Normally they stay on the north area of Brazil, right in the border or inside the Amazon forest, as you can see on the left-hand side of the picture. And on the right-hand side, you can see one crystal, the black crystal, it's tantalite, and the white crystal is albite. Okay, don't have any use for the albite in this lecture yet, but on the other hand, the left one is quite handy. It's the mineral-bearing tantalum, and tantalum it's quite tricky because we use this to capacitors and also with resistors, among other applications. Okay, tantalum have many applications. It is visually a material that doesn't, an element that doesn't react with other elements, and that's quite important. But the tricky part is it's quite important for electronics. If you want to have sensors around the world, if you want to have Industry 4.0, you need tantalum. And you can't recycle tantalum. You can't remove tantalum from the capacitors. Okay? And I know it's a shame, but it is what it is. You can't just go there and take the capacitors out of your circuit boards and recycle it. So talking about circular economy, it's really important. I like it. I love it. I'd like to talk a lot about circular economy, especially from tantalum, but I just can't. Okay, we don't have any expertise right now, and I'm talking about work. Okay, and we don't have a process that can allow us to recover tantalum yet. So yes, it is a pity, but again, it is what it is. And I'd like to draw your attention to this picture. Can you see the mine on this picture? Of course you can, because it's a 50 kilometers scale, okay? And right in the middle of the Amazon forest, really beautiful area, Rio Negro, right over here, it's like dark river or black river, and it's the middle of the Amazon forest. But if you take a look at this area, there is something strange over there, right? So this is the area that I'm talking about. If we zoom in for 2 kilometers, that's what you're going to see, okay? And if you zoom in again, this is what we're going to see. And we're talking about artisanal mines, okay? And our scale is 500 meters. or half kilometer. So it's not small. And we do have many problems, many issues in here. If you guys want to come here to discuss issues, be my guest. We have plenty issues to deal in here. Especially we have challenge for the mineral process of the tantalum also. Okay. And again, move to the minerals that people don't talk a lot about it, but talc. Okay, talc is used to many things, even with pharmaceutical company. And I'm not talking about talc that you apply baby butt or things like that, but also talc that we ingest. Okay, we use talc to protect some drugs, and then we take the drug and we can deliver this drug to our system safely because it's going to be encapsulated with talc. But we also use talc to brush rice, for example, and to peel off the rice crust and other plants and also fruits. We use talc for this. Okay, so taking this into consideration, talc is quite important, and we produce again 9% of the whole world's talc production. Okay, tin. Many people came in the past from UK to Brazil because they were workers in tin mine companies in the UK, and then they run off tin over there and they came straight to Brazil. Okay, and we still produce 80.3% of the whole world tin production. And on the other hand, we're again on the north part of the Brazil, and this production of tin is not very organized, let's say like this, and then you end up having areas like this. Okay, and in Brazil we have only artisanal mines, or at least the main places producing tin and tin concentrate are artisanal mines. This is a shame because you can do this beautiful coated alloys, as you can see on the bottom side, on your right hand side, using tin. Tin is also a very important alloy or alloy agent to our lifestyle. And another thing that is drawing attention day by day, every day, is graphite. Okay, so at the beginning we use graphite for what? For like solid lube and to make pencils, but nowadays it's completely different. As you can see on your right hand side, we use graphite for carbonizers, as a refractory material, fuel cells. It's really important, fuel cells, and I'm going to come back to this. Metal forming. Okay, we also use graphite, but we use this for gasket and foil, or fire retardants. We use this for insulation and composites, a completely new chapter in the material science. We use, of course, for pencils and lubrication, as I mentioned before, it's right over there. And for friction materials, and crucibles, there are many types of crucibles that we use straight graphite because the oven is an induction oven and only works with graphite. So you can run away from graphite if you're going to use an induction furnace or induction oven. But we also use graphite as a carbon addition material, energy storage, because you can burn graphite eventually if that's the case. Okay, and lithium-ion batteries. So it's pretty much what we're talking about the future. Brazilian, we do have lithium. I'm not going to show it in this lecture about lithium, but I'm going to come back to this. We do have copper and we do have graphite. So Brazilian is a recipe for success because we do have many great elements and great minerals that allowed us to produce many good technologies. Just need to do it. We need to mine it first. Okay. And when you talk about dimension stones, completely different chapter. The Brazilian dimension stones are so beautiful and so great because they have high mechanical properties. They have, as I mentioned to you, very beautiful inside of it, but also they are big. Okay, so you can cut it and you can have this big chunks of it, big blocks of it that's going to allow you allowed you, not only to carve the blocks and to produce statues and things like that, but you can also slice the blocks and you can have anything that you can imagine. And two states pop up in the middle of all of others, and it's called Espírito Santo. As you can see over here, this is the short version of it, the abbreviation, and also Bahia and Minas Gerais. Okay, Bahia would be like the third one, but Bahia have some dimension stones over there that are unique. You don't have anywhere around the world, just like the blue Bahians granites. They are amazing. Literally, they are amazing. So if you talk about this, as I mentioned to you, our two main producers would be Espírito Santo and Minas Gerais. Bahia would be like the third, and they are also the major exporters. And they export for the whole world. And why they are so beautiful and so important, one of the things is the crystal size. As you can see over here, they're like giant crystal size. Okay, and if you take a look at your granite in your home, you're gonna see like very, very small crystals. So when you take a look at a plate like this with huge crystal, it's going to be very, very expensive because it's really beautiful. Okay, and you can see in a better scale right now the difference between one average height guy and also this dimension stone, and he's just walked on it. Okay, so he's in the middle of a granite mine, just walking around because he works over there, and it's a very beautiful area. As you can see, very, very beautiful. And one thing that is very appreciated about dimension stone is not only color, it's not only crystal size, but it's also about motive. How you take a look at it and you see like a picture or like a painting. Okay? And if that shakes you inside, like if that moves you, then you're probably gonna buy it. And that's why they are so expensive. But we don't have only granites. Okay? We have marble, we have granite, we have soapstone, we have quartzite, and so on, and so on, and so on. Okay? And the civil construction industry in Brazil, they just agglomerate everything in granite, marble, or even like slates, and that's okay because there's so many rocks in Brazil that we can use as dimension stone. They just can't keep track. Okay? They just go out like 2 or 3 definitions, and that's okay. So another important state would be Bahia, like the third one, and Ceará, fourth one, and you can see over here that the guy is just watering the rock. And why he's doing this? Because when you water the rock, the color change. You can see this, I think, very easily in this area and in this area. And this other color that the rock is going to take, is going to pop up, is going to be the color that the rock is going to have after the polishing. Okay, after you polish it, that's going to be how the rock would be. So it's quite good just to water it. And again, they are very beautiful. As you can see over here, this is slate. It looks like, for me, it looks like a tree. At the same time, it looks like a picture from above, okay, like a satellite picture or image. And also, it looks like or reminds something like a painting. There are so many emotions coming from this, like an abstract painting. And people say, okay, I want to have this, but I'm not going to put this on my floor. I'm going to hang this on my wall. And people actually do it. I'm going to put this on my toilet. And they actually do this on my bathroom and also in front of the buildings. It's quite nice. Nowadays, people are covering buildings just with dimension stone because literally going to last forever. And you don't need to repaint it. You don't need to apply resin or anything. You just left it over there and you don't have any problems with environmental questions, or you don't have any problem with sunlight removing your painting. It's going to be there for many years. If you apply it correctly, it's going to be there. It's going to last for many decades. And again, I showed you before the same guy in here. I think he was around here. Okay, now he moved away, and the guys with the camera move around and took this amazing picture, because you can see over here the difference between this part of the mine, or this part of the mine, or this part of the mine. So you can actually produce not one, but two, three different kinds of rocks in the same mine. Okay, so the four principal countries that we export dimension stone are USA, Italy, China, and Spain. They are our main buyers, and USA share is already 6% of the revenue. So we ship something like 60% of all dimensional stones to United States. So that is a very high chance that you came to the United States and you walk in the airport and say, okay, I'm not in Brazil anymore, but you stepping into Brazilian dimension stone. Okay? It's just laying around. Okay, and since 2004, Brazil has the second general dimensional stone supplier in the first granite supplier of the United States. Okay, so we're the first supplier. And in this graphic, I know that you can't see everything, but you can see Brazil. Okay, this is our map, and the hot areas are the proportion of the production of dimensional stones. So you can see over here, Espírito Santo is considered a small country, small state in Brazil. They are right over here, and they are the hotspot. Okay, after each state we have Minas Gerais right here, Bahia right here, and Ceará. But all states, in a way or another, they end up producing dimension stone, except for Tocantins, Maranhão, Amazonas, Acre. Okay? The other ones, they all have some sort of production of dimension stones, and it's quite important. Okay, so this map, it shows something else. It shows something quite interesting around Brazilian mines, and it is about Pará, which is right over here, Goiás, right here. I'm actually something around here. This is the spot that I'm sitting right now and talking to you, and Minas Gerais. Okay, so there is a dispute right now about who's going to be the first one on the rank of the mineral processing or mineral producers states in Brazil. And I'm going to do something like this: Minas Gerais on the first one, Pará on the second one, but it can change. Okay, it can vary. But the third one would be Goiás. Okay, it's going to be the third one. But here's the thing: these two together is going to be like, it's going to account like 90% of the whole Brazilian mineral production, and this one is going to be like 3%. So it's really, really, really different from the second one to the third one. Okay, and we are a mine state. Okay? But nevertheless, we just account for 3%, around 3% of the Brazilian production. When you talk about dimension stone, 2%. Okay, Minas Gerais 25, and Espírito Santo, it would be the first one. Okay. Nevertheless, we also produce manganese, and we're the top 5 manganese around the world, 15.3%. And I'm showing you some pictures also from Minas Gerais. And when they choose that name, Minas Gerais, they were not only inspired, they were ultimately right about choosing the name of the state. We are general mines. We have mines of many, many minerals. And we do also have these two materials. This is manganese, okay? But this is a carbonate, a manganese carbonate. And this is also a manganese carbonate. But as you can see over here, we have different crystals, or beautiful crystals. And it's called rhodochrosite, okay? And I went to Denver in the United States 2 years ago, and I was visiting the Mineralogical Museum of Denver. It's like 50 kilometers from Colorado School of Mines, and I came across with a mineral beautiful like this one. So I instantly grabbed my phone and started taking a lot of pictures of it. And then I read the sign under it, and it was written, Conselheiro Lafayette, Minas Gerais, Brazil. And I was thinking, yeah, I used to live in the city. I was lecturing in the city for like 5 years. And now I came to United States just to take pictures of a rock coming from the place that I was living. It's quite strange word, but it is what it is, okay? And it was a very, very beautiful rhodochrosite. So yeah, it deserved the pictures. It came from my area. I was born in a straight line. I was born like 70 kilometers away from this mine, okay? It's the same area, and it's close to Ouro Preto also. So, to summarize, mining accounts for something around 5% of the Brazilian GDP, gross domestic product, and I guess this number is going to be higher this year, as it was last year because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And Brazilian doesn't know about this. They don't care, I guess. And because of the accidents and the situation that we live in nowadays in Brazil, with all this movement of not having mines around, some of the Brazilians are starting with a mindset quite close to the European ones. And they don't want to have mines around anymore. It's just like the Europeans, they know our mines is quite important. We appreciate very much our effort, but not in my backyard, okay? So if you want to do this, go to your own country and mine your country. Don't mine Germany, okay? Or don't mine Portugal. They have mines, okay? They have operational mines, but they want to get rid of those, definitely, especially coal mines. And I'm not sure if this is wise, but nevertheless, this is the moment that they're living, and that's how they're dealing with the situation nowadays. And in Brazil, we say these things, okay? We say these similar thoughts, not having mines. And if we close the mines right now, we would lose straight away 5% of all of the Brazilian GDP. But keep something in mind. There are many research that point out how is the multiplying factor of having the mine. And if you have one job directly connected with the mine, you produce at least 20 more, okay? So if mine contributes directly with 5% of the Brazilian GDP, you can imagine that something like 10% of the Brazilian GDP is connected with the mines in order to supply the mines, or supply with food, with parts, but also with people, okay? So I was born in a city exactly like that, okay? It is the city that I showed you guys before, the Birito. In the beginning, we only supplied people for the mine, okay? It's iron ore mine. When the time passed, we start to have what? Doctors, physicians, supermarket, professors, teachers also, everything, okay? So all of this environment was created because and to the mine, okay? So if you cut all of the Brazilian mines, it would be mayhem to our economy, okay? Literally would be a mayhem. And we have to consider this, okay? So I bring to you another map, and actually I'm gonna show you this map twice, okay? This one is a little bit different, the other one, because it's older, okay? But as you can see over here, we have tin on Amapá, the north part of the Brazil. We have also tin in Roraima. We have gold, a lot of gold mines, as you can see, orange represented over there. So this one, this state over here is Pará. It's a very, very important area for gold mines in here. This area on the north part of Mato Grosso, also quite important. This area over here is called Baixada Cuiabana, another place quite important. This area over here is the north part of the Goiás state. And here we have the cities called Iguaçu, Niquelândia, also a gold deposit, very important. We have gold on Tocantins, we have gold in other areas like this, and we have gold in Minas Gerais. All this area over here have gold also in Bahia around here, okay? But we have mineral districts and mineral occurrences all over the country, okay? Including in states that are quite well industrialized, like São Paulo, or even the southern part of the Brazil. Okay, so my friend that is attending this lecture from the Mato Grosso do Sul, we have just one occurrence, one quite important occurrence here, but don't be sad when you talk about civil construction. We have sand and gravels all around the country. So we do have mines in the whole Brazil. Okay? You can have this in mind, but we do have mines in all Brazil. Okay, but depends on the size of this mine. So this graphic is only pointing out to big mines. Okay, but small mines we have all around the country. So as you can see over here, this is a chart showing to you the importance of the areas. Okay, and it doesn't want to show you like with colors how important this or that area is for mines. That's not the case. You can see the number of companies on your right hand side. Okay, so center west part is this one. You can see by the colors. So this is the first one. We have something around 1,075 mine companies on these three states. Okay, and yeah, Brasilia is right here, is considered a fourth one, but we do have mine in Brasilia. Okay, because we produce Portland cement. Okay, so in order to produce cement, we need to have soda. We need to have lime. We need to have also a few other minerals. I just forgot the translation right now. I'm going to come back to this later on. But you have this in Brasilia, and you need to supply Brasilia with cement. So you do mine and you do produce cement in Brasilia. Okay. And if you go to the north part of Brazil, that's the second one right here. We have 1,606, and this is one of the top two areas, mineral areas in Brazil. It's huge. Yeah, you can see in the map. Okay, but in the southeast part of the Brazil, which is this one, number 3, we have 3,609 companies. It's quite important. The southern part is right here, would be the fourth one, and the fifth one. Oh, sorry, I make a mistake. The second one is here. Okay, this one is the third one. This is the fourth one. Sorry, and this is the fifth one. Okay, now it's correct. And if you sum this, you can take a look how many mines do we have in Brazil. It's not a small thing. Okay, so people, I want to talk to you a little bit about mine life cycle. Okay, and that's the last thing that I'm going to present before we have a break. Okay, and why I'm going to talk to you about mine life cycle, because in order for us to move into mineral processing, we need to understand a little bit how this material end up in our hand. Okay, what was the work done before, or studies that had been done before, and now we end up having this ore in our mine, in our mineral processing area, in our industry, and now we have to tackle with that. Okay, so when we talk about mines, we started with exploration. Okay, and geologists, they're going to do exploration in Brazil, but mining engineers also work with that area too. Okay, not in the same proportion. Okay, I do prefer to have this over the hands of geologists, but yes, we can do this. After that, after we characterize our deposit, we start a feasibility study. Okay, because when you're in the academy, you can do whatever you want, because scientifically speaking, you have a curiosity and you're going to try this out. Okay, you can do basic research. But when you go into the real life and you need to have profit coming from that, you're not going to do everything in an area that's just going to fail in the first stage. Okay, so if your area succeed in the first stage, you do have volume of material and you do have quality of this material, then you move to the feasibility study. After that, it's mandatory. Okay, you have to have this feasibility study because you have to present this to the government, and we can come back also to the Brazilian legislation later on. But again, it's mandatory. You have to have a feasibility study. Okay, otherwise you can have your permission to have a mine. Then we start planning and designing a mine. Okay, and it's quite interesting because you do this every day. Okay, not only at the beginning, for example, as you do with your house, with your home, You just go there, planning, design, and you build it, and that's okay. That's not what's gonna happen with a mine, okay? Because a mine is itself a temporary structure. Okay? I know the mine now, and I can make a simulation how the mine is going to be over the last 10 years. And then I start to haul all of the material, to harvest this material. Let's say harvest, okay? And after 1 or 2 years, the board is going to come to you and say, oh, you are our mining engineer, and we're having a discussion over here, and we need you to do something for us. You say, okay, let me know what I can do for you, and I'm going to do it. Okay, double the production. I said, okay, double the production. And we're going to do it. We're going to double the production. Okay, they're going to put money, probably, and we're going to double the production. And what are the downsides of doubling a production? You're going to reduce your mine expectation. The life cycle of your mine is going to shrink. But nevertheless, we do it, okay? Because the market is demanding our product, so we're going to deliver. Okay? Then we have the construction of the mine, the construction of the mineral processing plant, and then we're going to start to operate. Okay? And that is the time that we're going to produce. And we're going to have our hands dirty. And after that, we start the reclamation. What is the reclamation? We can understand this as return life into the rest of the mine that is left behind, okay? Because we can't just let that open pit mine just laying around, a hole in our world. That's not okay. What are you going to do about it? I'm going to fill up with water. Okay, that's a strategy. What else? Or I'm going to make this area around it a very, very big hotel. So people are going to come here to jump into the water, to swim, and they're going to stay in this hotel. Nice idea. What else? Oh, I'm going to make a restaurant. What else? And so on. Okay, of course, we can't change all of the Brazilian mines into spas, but some of them we can do it. So why not? Okay, tourism is quite important for us in Brazil. Keep that in mind. So after reclamation, we go into closure. There are different things. I'm going to show you the concept. And after closure, we came into completion. And completion in Brazil is something that you're not going to do in your lifetime, because you have to guarantee that this area is going to be safe for over 1,000 years. And if you consider that we're going to have to take responsibility for something that's going to last for 1,000 of years, it's quite important, okay? So that's why you have to keep our minds open and take a look at this chart, because the life cycle of a mine is nothing easy, okay? It is going to change from time to time. For example, if we're working with nickel and nickel prices go down, maybe I'm going to have to close my mine. And if I close my mine, what I'm going to do? I'm going to fire people, probably. I'm going to stop the operations. I'm not going to do any constructions anymore because I'm selling it. And sometimes I'm obligated to make a closure. I have to closure the mine. Literally, I have to closure the mine. And in the future, it could be quite expensive to resume the mining in this mine. Okay, it's sometimes easy just to let things just as this and move to another area, to another mineral. Okay, but don't restart a mine. Sometimes it's really, really expensive. So another chart saying pretty much the same thing that I showed you before. Then we have first prospection and exploration, then we have development, then the ore extraction, then we have the closure. Okay, so when we talk about extraction, we have not only mining, but we have mineral processing. Okay, so we're going to be taking a deep look at this stage of the mine. Okay, can we talk a little bit about mine closure and reclamation? Yeah, if you want, we can do it. We can put this into one of the seminars. Can we talk about exploration? Yeah, we can try to do something like this, but in the seminars, okay? Because in here, we're going to focus on the extraction stage, because mineral processing, it's late on that stage. okay? And I think if you take a look at these pictures, you can understand a little bit more about mines. And I'm going to go one by one of these blocks because they're really, really good for us to understand how mines are processed. So first stage, exploration again. As you can see over here, we have geologists. They are drill coring this area. They are drilling and collecting core. Okay, so this is our drill core. And they are going to analyze this drill core and they're going to model all of this local geology. And this guy over here, they are not bringing food to them. They are just doing what? They are flying around to make what we call geophysics. Okay, so this guy over here, like those guys over here, they are discovering this ore occurrences. Okay, and here we have also ore occurrences. So this point of the mine, we don't have a mine yet. Okay, we have a deposit. When we start to characterize this deposit and we have all of this deposit information, then we can deliver a report and change from deposit to a mine. Okay, so we can move from the deposit to a mine. So that's pretty much part of the second stage. We're going to start the development. As you can see on the first one, no profit. Okay, no profit at all. Second stage, no profit. I'm just going to put money on it. And as you can see, we suppress the vegetation, we open up roads and escape roads, but we have to get access to the ore. Okay, we need to get close to the ore and we need to haul it. So that's why we're gonna, again, spend money. Okay? And sometimes people come to us and say, wow, mine is so expensive. Everybody wants to make so much profit. Yeah, because they already spent a lot of money, a serious amount of money, like millions of dollars money. Okay, so yes, it is expensive. Okay, so that's why you have this kind of two choices, like a Sophia choice. If you let the people mine, they're gonna mine spending the less amount of money possible. They're gonna do a lot of wrong things and mistakes, but then again, everybody's gonna be able to hold a piece of that ore. On the other hand, if you let the mine companies do it, okay, they're gonna do this better, faster, but on the other hand, they're gonna pay salaries to the other guys and they're not gonna have the same income. Definitely, they're not gonna have the same income. Okay, so you have to make a choice. You need to make a choice, that's for sure. And then we have the early production. And over here, the author said there is no profit, but actually you're producing. Okay, on a small scale, you're producing. And how can I produce and don't have any kind of profit? Because you're producing so much small amounts of material that you don't have a possibility to make money out of that, not serious money. Of course, you're gonna get some money out of that, but it's going to be pocket money, okay? It's nothing that you can actually pay for the whole industry yet, but you're gonna do it, okay? So this is also considered an experimental harvest of the material, okay? Because it's experimental, why? Because you have to take this material and feed your mineral processing plant. And after that, you have your concentrate. You have your marketable material. So you need to take care if you have actually this material to sell, okay? Otherwise, you're gonna try to sell this material and your clients are gonna come to you and say, it's not good. Okay? And you're gonna lose all of your shipment, okay? So now we enter at the full production part of the company and it's profitable, definitely. Then you have net profit. And what you need to get hands on it and you need to be very careful is sometimes at the beginning, nobody wants to put their money on the project, okay? But after the project is approved and you start to receive money, everybody wants a slice of it. And that's not okay. That's not okay at all. That's not how lives work. So you gotta be careful to deliver to them all the information, all the reports, but you need to be careful not to let the other way around occurring, okay? So people need to be your partner in this, because this part we're gonna have net profit, okay? So if you sold your share, if you don't have any more collaboration with the company, you're gonna be out of this. And the last part would be reclamation, would be the closure. So we should be able to return the area back to the environment, the surrounding environment, as good as we took it. Okay, it's not easy. Okay, we know this is not easy, but we're gonna do the best that we can. And I'm gonna come back to you guys later on to show how we do it. Okay, but we try to do this. So, guys, with this, I close our first lecture. It is only an introduction. Let me just change my screen. It is just an introduction about mines in Brazil. I just took the top 5, okay, and just quick introduction about mining stage. But this is just a warm up, okay. We're warming up. Next lecture, we'll do it on Friday. We're going to talk about strategic minerals, and then we're going to deep into this, and so on, okay. But now I want to talk with you a little bit about our seminars, okay? Well, at the beginning, I was considering that you were going to be 21 people in this lecture. Then we had our WhatsApp group, 19. And what we're going to do is, I need to split you guys up, okay? If you're going to have seminars, we can't have a seminar with all of you individually present, okay? We only have 5 moments that we're going to present. So I need you guys to think about how we're going to split up, and I like you to split up in group of 3. Okay, so we're gonna have groups of 3 people. And one thing that I ask you to is not stay in a Brazilian group only. Okay, so you guys have to blend. Okay, the rule of thumb is going to be something like this: up to 2 Brazilians, 1 non-Brazilian, okay, or specifically non-Portuguese speaking in the group, okay, because otherwise we're going to speak in Portuguese all the time, and that's not what we want or desire. Okay, so ideally speaking, I would mix you up, and you're going to stay 2 Brazilians and 1 non-Portuguese speaker, okay, if it's possible. And then you're going to choose some topics. I'm going to send you the list of the topics you're going to start to choose, and I'm going to send you papers. But first of all, I need to know who is going to be working with whom. After that, we choose the topics, and after that, I'm going to deliver the papers just for the group, okay? So we have, from now up to Friday, to divide you guys, okay? So on Friday, I'm going to give you an Excel worksheet, okay? You're going to online during our lecture, okay? I'm going to say, okay, go there, and just in time, you're going to put your names on this Excel worksheet. And after that, I'm going to start to draw some numbers, and I'm going to say something like, Claudia, you take the number 1, Diane, number 2, Santiago, number 3. And that's the topics that we're going to talk about in our seminars. If you guys want to change groups, we can do this, okay? Like we can have 2 seminars with 1 group, then we change. We have 2 seminars with another group, then we change, and you have 1 seminar, a final seminar with another group. That would be also good, okay? We can do this. Just let me know what you prefer. If you want to have all of the seminars with the same group, or if you want to change, that's okay. You can know more people, and you can blend with different people, okay? That would be great. Okay, we can do this. But again, for Friday, we need to have the names of the groups or the people in the groups, and then we're going to start to give you homework. Okay? So that's for Friday.
Okay.
So,
excuse me, some question. And the seminars will be just paper presentations?
No, not paper presentations itself, okay? But subjects presentation. Okay, Diane? So for example, for the first seminar, I want you guys to decide what kind of mineral you want to take a look. Okay, so you're going to take a look at the 1 mineral, for example, iron ore. Okay, I want to work with iron ore. So you're going to bring to us the problems of mineral processing regarding iron ore. So I want to know what are the difficulties nowadays and how people are tackling those difficulties. Okay, so that would be the first seminar. The second seminar, we're going to deep. We're going to get in deep. So, for example, for the last seminars, you guys are going to present solutions for this. So what we can understand right now is we're going to follow the SWOT matrix. Okay, so the seminar is going to be something like this. You're going to present strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. And the idea is we're going to try to help those guys. Okay, we're going to have like brainstorms in here. The seminars are going to be brainstorms. And the idea is to come with these ideas and say, okay, is this a good idea for iron ore or not? Is this a good idea for gold or not? And so on. Okay, so I'm going to point to you guys one of those minerals. Okay, and you guys are going to pick from there. And then later on, you're going to be able to choose whatever mineral that you want to and your group want to work with. Okay, but then again, we go deep. Okay, I don't want anything shallow. Oh, okay, we use gold in Brazil and we produce gold also. It's quite nice, it's important, it's shine. Okay, let's just go something like hydrometallurgy and we're going to use cyanide and that's okay. It's not that simple. Okay, what are the downsides of the cyanide? What are we going to do? Is you want to change this for what? Quicksilver, mercury. It's even worse. Okay, so how can we do it? Okay, yes, I can send you all the list of the students. I can do this right now, actually. So now you have the names and the emails of everyone that signed or applied to this lecture. Okay, so you have this using our WhatsApp group. Okay, so let me send you guys also 2 more links. And I mentioned to you that we were going to use those links, and I'm also going to project those links to you. Okay, just 1 second. This is the first one, and coming out the second one. Okay, so now let me just present again to you those links. Okay, guys, I'm not 100% sure if our translator is going to work. I hope it will. And if it doesn't translate quite well, okay, please let me know and I can eventually translate this to you. Okay, so this first link that I'm sent to you using the WhatsApp group, it's our lab. Okay, so if you just click over here, you can choose, other language like English, and part of this is going to be automatically translated to English. But here's the thing, if you come to this menu and you come to this lectures, okay, you're gonna see over here, okay, like 2021, you're gonna see all the material of these lectures, okay? You're gonna see right here. So everything that I present to you, I'm gonna put it available on this website, okay? It's going to be right here for you. Actually, if you come, also here you have theoretical classes, okay? I'm not gonna put this is our channel. So in here you have all of the videos, here you have practical lectures, here you have just lectures, and over here you have equipments, okay? So if you want to know how some equipment work, probably I have some video over here, some animation over here, and you can just go down there and browse it and watch it. So guys, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate very much if next lecture you talk a little bit more, okay, it doesn't stay so shy. And we come back on Friday morning Brazilian time, okay? So we start on 8 a.m. Brazilian time.